Greetings, I am the Wrestling Fan. I may not be the best wrestling fan, but I am the finest. And welcome to another rendition of The Wrestling Fan. Shoots on. Alright, what am I shooting all over this time? Jack Swagger, you fucked up, boy. Now, this has been all over the internet, even on WWE.com, all over the wrestling sheets, and some of you may be wondering what I think about it. Well, I'm not really mad about it or anything. To be perfectly honest, I've never been a big fan of Jack Swagger. Now, I'll admit, he's a phenomenal wrestler. He actually did a great job carrying the ECW title. And he's been floundering ever since then, really, but his matches with Christian really put him on the map. And I'll say it again, he's an amazing wrestler. But he's got the personality of mud. And I'm not attacking him for like his lisp or anything like that. Some people have said, like, well, you attack his personality because he can't talk. It's like, I believe Dusty Rhodes is one of the greatest talkers in the history of pro wrestling, and he talked like this, baby. So that's not what it's about. He has the personality of a fucking tree branch. He's got no personality. None. He's not that good on the mic. He's gotten better, but a little bit. It's like, I compare him to Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin is a phenomenal wrestler, phenomenal athlete. I'm sorry, I know he's fantastic, but he doesn't have what it takes to be in the main event. I could be wrong. I really could be wrong. Like, I love the guy to death. He was one of my favorites, but I don't see him being able to carry a company like a John Cena, or I'll say it, even a Triple H, or I don't know. He doesn't have it, and Jack Swagger doesn't have it either. It's like when people bring up to me, like, wasn't Jack Swagger a former world champion? I just want to slap him across the face because it pisses me off that he's actually a former world champion. It was way too soon when he got it. When he won the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 26, I was pissed. I was fucking pissed. That almost ruined the rest of the night for me. I'm sorry, I've never been a huge fan of his. He's going to be undercard talent. You know, I could be wrong. And so he finally came back as a bad guy, which he does much better than a good guy. Actually, I don't think he's ever been a good guy. And they give him a manager. And by the looks of it, they were going to go with, like, how they're for America, but by being for America, they're against America because everything in America is wrong and they're right, and blah, 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 blah. It's been done to fucking death in pro wrestling. Well, Alberto Del Rio is the World Heavyweight Champion, and Jack Swagger surprisingly won the Elimination Chamber match to go to WrestleMania to fight for the world title. I guess that's not a bad thing. I thought it was a cool surprise. Honestly, my first thought when I heard that Jack Swagger got busted for a DUI and having pot with him, I was like, oh, thank God, they can put somebody else in the main event at WrestleMania. Sorry, that's just me. It's like, I know he's a good talent, but I don't see it. And him versus Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania was going to be like America versus Latinos. It's just racism. Let's just have racism and conflict. And that's just stupid. The last time that was done was between Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 20 for the WWE title. And yeah, it kind of touched on some touchy issues when it came to race. But those two were phenomenal talkers, phenomenal storytellers, and phenomenal wrestlers. They could carry it. Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger are mid-card talent, in my opinion. I don't like Alberto Del Rio. I don't like him as a good guy. I felt he was a lukewarm bad guy. Most of that is probably WWE's fault, but I don't like him. They're pushing him, and I don't see it. There's nothing amazing about him to me. I'm sorry. He's not exciting. You guys may complain about CM Punk and everything, but at least he does bring excitement. He brings curiosity. He may not bring the ratings that you wrestling fans want him to bring, like a Hulk Hogan or a Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's different, and that's why. And Alberto Del Rio is not different, and neither is Jack Swagger. But at least they are pushing another talent. So, I don't know. But anyway, that's my stance on Jack Swagger. But if some of you don't know, he got busted a few days ago in his car. I can't remember where it was, but it's somewhere where pot is not legalized. And he got a DUI, and he had a bag of pot in the car. And he had to have been high. So, that's against the wellness policy in WWE. That's his first one. So, more than likely, he's lost his WrestleMania spot. Maybe, maybe not. No one's really sure yet. Jack, actually to any wrestler out there, look, I know that the schedule for wrestling is harsh, but wrestlers go into this business knowing that. How tough it can be, how you may not get anywhere. You may work for 20 years and not get anywhere, or you may get success, but it's going to be hard to maintain it and to keep your spot. You're going to fucking know that. Why fuck it up with alcohol and drugs and pills? And I know the life of a wrestler is not, it's an enjoyable one, but it's also not. It's very harsh, but they chose that life. And I don't want to bash Jack Swagger. We all make mistakes. I've made plenty myself. We all have. But it just pisses me off that, yeah, I may not be a fan of his, but he had a main event. It's for the world title, so it's not a main event. It'll be the first match. Hopefully it'll be longer than 40 seconds like last year. But I digress. He had that spot. As far as I know. I mean, it could have changed. Maybe they were doing twists and turns in the road to where we thought it was going to be that match, and maybe it wasn't. But for the moment, it looked like he was going to be going for the world title at WrestleMania 29. And even if he wasn't going to win it, it's still a big spot on the biggest show of the year. And it could have turned out to be the biggest match of his career. And a jumping start to his newly formed career with his new manager and everything. The company was getting behind him, and they were putting stock into him like they never have before. And then he goes and does this. I have no sympathy for a guy like that. I'm sorry. Or anybody like that. I think it's stupid. I personally, I'm not straight edge, but I don't drink. I don't do drugs because I don't want to fuck up my life with it. I think pot should just be legalized all over the country, if any drug should be. I think it's stupid that it's not. Personally, if Swagger would have been in a state where it was legalized, nothing would have happened. But at the same time, it's still going against the wellness policy. So he may have tested positive before WrestleMania. Who knows if they would have had a piss test. So either way, he probably would have been caught. I don't agree with it. It's just, why? Why would you risk it? You've got a wife, you've got a kid, maybe two, I don't know your personal life. I know you got a wife and kid. It's sad that I even know that. But, and you're finally getting a push and going for a world title again and being taken seriously. Not by me, but maybe by some people, at least by the company. And you're going to fuck it up just because you want to get a little high. Why waste this chance? Why? Any wrestler, any actor, any writer, any director, anybody in entertainment, why risk it by doing this shit? Alcohol's legal. I understand going to put a few back. I personally don't, but I get it. I'm not judging anyone for that. But for something that's illegal through the state that you're driving through, why risk it? And also something that's going to come up in the wellness policy. And they're not going to suspend. That's the thing. No one knows. Like, are they going to suspend him? Or are they going to take away his WrestleMania spot? I personally don't know. I would be okay if they took it away from him. If he keeps it, fine, whatever. And as you can see, I'm not mad. I wanted to shoot all over this to get my feelings out there about Jack Swagger. I hope he proves me wrong. If he does, I will bow down to him. Sheamus proved me wrong. I despise Sheamus. And even though I don't like him, he's boring as hell as a good guy. And WrestleMania last year basically left him for dead, and Daniel Bryan became the bigger star, even though Sheamus is the one who became the world champion. WWE is the one that fucked that up. But at least he is a solid worker, in a way. Jack Swagger is a phenomenal wrestler, and he could have a classic match at WrestleMania. Him and Alberto Del Rio could steal the show. They could tear the house down if it's going to happen. But because of what he did, it may not happen. That's the thing, we don't know yet. And again, I'm not mad, but I wanted to talk about it because I just think it's funny that he would fuck up his chance like this just to get a little stoned. If you're that stressed out, I don't know if you if you need to smoke pot, go do it in a hotel room. Don't do it on the road and then drive. I mean, that's dangerous enough, you fucking idiot. But I don't like when wrestlers who were given a chance screw it up and throw it away. And maybe he did, and it's just a little pot. It's not a big deal. But it embarrasses the WWE, it embarrasses Vince McMahon, and it embarrasses him and his family. And look at what happened to Evan Bourne. And some of you are probably going, Evan who? Exactly. So, just because they want to get high sometimes. RVD's career in WWE may have been held back because he wanted to get high all the fucking time. Of course, there's no drug policy in TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever, so he's having a grand time there being high up in the clouds and wrestling all the time. So, I mean, good for him. If that's what he wants, great. I know WWE is a harsher schedule. It sucks, but I don't get it. I really don't. So, I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks what's going to happen with Swagger and what the match at WrestleMania is going to be. But that's my feelings on the situation. Swagger, if you fucked it up for yourself, you have nobody else to blame but yourself. But if you got to get high and get caught and still get your world title match at WrestleMania, bravo to you, sir. Bravo to you. But that's all I got to say about this one, so see you later. Jack Swagger, you're kind of okay.
Space Monkey Mafia Studio.
What is it?